It's 8:33, and a recent ruling is fueling the flames for a hot legal strategy aimed at helping cash-strapped community associations fight back against the worst of deadbeat investors, those who own one or more units or homes, rent them out, collect their cash, but refuse to pay association fees. Here to talk about the legal problem and the condo solution is Dan, the condo man, Vasquez. Feel free to trademark that if you want to.
I love it.
You can have that one. How are you?
Very good, very good.
All right, what's this new policy?
Well, here we're talking about, it's all about blanket receiverships. It's not a very sexy name, but really this is probably the Brad Pitt of legal strategies for associations these days. There's not much good news for associations, particularly when they're dealing with foreclosures and delinquent investors. But here comes a shiny, a beautiful-faced, shiny, smiling legal strategy.
Married to Angelina Jolie.
Exactly.
All the
married
bells and whistles,
with thousands of kids. Yes, not to belabor that, but this new strategy basically puts the power back into the association's hands. They get a court-appointed receiver who collects these rents directly from the tenants rather than waiting for this delinquent deadbeat investor to pay. And we're talking about the worst of the worst here. The deadbeat investor who owns one or multiple units, has them filled with tenants, and is taking that money and not paying the association fees, leaving other owners to carry those fees, pushing them to delinquency and making the cycle worse for the association. So these are the worst of the worst. And
this was recently upheld by an appellate court, so it's not going anywhere.
Exactly. I broke the news earlier on this show, earlier this year, that the Association Law Group of South Florida came up with the strategy. They started using it, but it was challenged recently. A deadbeat investor said, this doesn't work correctly. But he lost in court, and so this is almost as good as law now.
And the good thing about it being a blanket receivership is that essentially now, if I understand it correctly, a whole bunch of owners can sort of get their comeuppance at one time, right? You don't have to make an individual case for each individual owner. You go and you get them all sort of simultaneously.
You would have graduated with law school flying colors,
Come
my
on.
friend. That's exactly right. That's the big deal here. Up until now, associations had to go after each investor, and if he owned several units, they had to file several receivership program filings. Now you can, with one filing, one court fee, you can go after every investor, whether that investor right now is in delinquency or if it comes up later.
All right, so if someone out there is thinking about renting a unit from a condo, they hear stories like this, and they're probably terrified because they pay their rent. They do everything they're supposed to do, but the person who owns the unit is not paying the association fees, and thereby, like we said earlier, it sort of goes down the line, it snowballs, it gets out of control. So for someone who's looking at renting, what can they do? Should they do some fact-checking on the person they're going to rent from?
That's perfect solution. You want to, ferret out whether this person has a history. And the quickest thing you can probably do is hopefully you can rely on someone who lives in the association, who is aware of this person's history, and find out, do they have delinquencies already in their history? Are they having problems paying their maintenance fees? If so, then you don't want to rent from them. But you have to be very careful.
All right. Dan, the condo man, Vasquez, our very own Brad Pitt, making your wife, by the way, and Angelina Vasquez Jolie.
I love it.
There you go. And for more on blanket receiverships and how your association could benefit from them, just visit Dan's section of our website, southflorida.com/home. And if you want to find out how much your home is worth, you can also find that in our home section. How cool is that?
Dave, he does kind of favor Brad Pitt a little bit. Anyway, stick around, ladies and gentlemen. The moment you have been waiting for, it's viral video time. Boom! You will enjoy.